There's a lot to worry about this week with the federal agents taking over and the National Guard taking over the police in Washington D.C. and Trump lying about the crime problem there, which is actually at a 30-year low. But I'm most concerned this week, and maybe it's because I was a fellow to study vaccinations in Washington D.C. before the pandemic with a group of journalists. But the recent actions by Robert Kennedy Jr. and the Trump administration has me greatly concerned. They have canceled $500 million in contracts to develop mRNA vaccines to protect us against future pandemics. And you must know that the mRNA vaccines were a huge medical triumph. They saved millions of lives. And let's remember that over 1 million Americans died during the last pandemic. There is a great interview, and I would direct you to go to Pod Save America and the episode on August 8th called Trump Goes Bananas with Dr. Michael Osterholm. And he is a renowned expert. He's the director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. He's very worried about the cut in funding and that we will not be prepared for the next pandemic. But it's his explanation that really got me rattled. Here's what he said. The coronavirus, COVID, as bad as it was not the worst of the viruses. COVID was highly contagious, but it actually killed at a rate of 1 to 1.5% of the population if infected. If you look at SARS, which hit in 2003 in China and spread around the world, and MERS in 2012, which killed between 20 and 35% of the people, they were not that infectious and they were able to be contained. He said it was like dealing with a wildfire. But in the last few months, they've identified a new coronavirus in China that actually has the characteristics of transmission like COVID, so highly contagious, and the ability to kill like SARS and MERS. So it's got the two worst things you want to see in a virus. That virus could be the cause of a pandemic tomorrow. And imagine, instead of having 1.5% of the population dying, you're talking about 20 to 25%. And that's not scary talk, he said. This is real. Dr. Osterholm reminds us that nobody wanted to believe the COVID pandemic was going to happen. And look what happened. It did happen. He explains that we need to be better prepared and that there's work going on. I mean, the hopes are to develop someday a universal vaccine that could prepare us for future pandemics. But in the meantime, we need to have scientists working on a vaccine that can prepare us for the next emerging virus. But the problem is we have leadership that makes decisions not based on science, but on false information. The centers at Dr. Osterholm said that the centers at Brown and Johns Hopkins have useful information, and it is very important for the public to get these facts out. Contact your congressman. This is scary stuff, everybody, and it's unacceptable and, in fact, potentially deadly. Thanks for listening.